Hey everyone, I am, as you can tell, no longer in California. I'm back home and found a little spot in my garage to shoot this video today. I'm sorry that it's kind of a mess, but that's how it is. I've been gone for a little while, and it is good to be home. And I do have to apologize in advance if you can pick this up on the video, but I'm sitting in my creaky chair out in the garage, my mid-century modern $5 Facebook Marketplace chair. Anyway, and I'm trying out this new microphone, so I'm hoping that that works out for us too. So yeah, we're gonna do the fill-in video between week 5 and week 6 of our series in Luke. This is a short one. It's only a few verses, and they're gonna be pretty easy to get through, although I think there is at least one really important thing to pull out of this. At least one, but one that I'm going to spend time on, but this video should be pretty quick. So we are in Luke chapter 6. We finished with Jesus talking about the Sabbath. Getting ready to get into the Sermon on the Mount, which is awesome. But we just need to go from chapter 6, verse 12 through verse 16. All right, so here we go. Verse 12. Now it came to pass in those days that he went out to the mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called his disciples to himself, and from them he chose 12, whom he also named apostles. So we're going to pause right here before we get into the names. There goes the squeaky chair. He goes and he prays all night. The event of Jesus praying all night and then publicly selecting the apostles are not dissociated events. Is that the right word? These events are connected. And Jesus goes and he prays all night, then comes down and decides who among his disciples, which is a larger group of people, is going to be called an apostle. So the inner circle, the 12. And he spends all night praying before he comes down to do this. I think there's a really important principle here that I want to take just a second to talk about. We need to be very prayerful about who is in leadership in the church. And that's what Jesus did. He went and he prayed and then came and selected the apostles. When we were getting ready to start Carolina Family Church, I've told this story many times, maybe you've heard it, but when we were getting ready to start Carolina Family Church, I went and talked to everybody that I knew that had planted a church. And I asked them a lot of different questions, but there was one question that I made sure to ask every time I talked to somebody who had started a church. And it was, if you could go back and undo one thing you did, what would it be? I thought it was an interesting question, and I thought it was a good way to escape a pitfall that others had fallen into, and I thought I would get a bunch of different answers, but I didn't. I got one answer. Every single person that I asked that question of, to a person, gave me the same answer. They said if I could go back and I could undo one thing that I did, I would not have put leadership in place as quickly as I did. They all said it. Because in the rush to put people in leadership positions to add, help and to add, in some cases, some legitimacy or accountability to your church organization, they put people in positions of leadership that they regret having done so. People who were hungry for power or position, or who didn't quite understand what the church was, or the mission or the vision, or where they were going, and they were heading in a different direction. All kinds of reasons for making that mistake, but pretty consistently making that mistake. Jesus was not going to make that mistake. Jesus had the advantage of knowing people's hearts beyond what we know as well. And of course, the will of God, knowing what was going to happen. And so, but nevertheless, regardless of that, Jesus still went to the mountain to pray and prayed all night long before coming down and identifying these people. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get the list of people. Some of these names are going to be familiar right out of the gate from things we've talked about in Luke. Some may be new, but these are the 12. So and from them he chose 12, whom he also named apostles. Now we're verse 14. Simon, who he also named Peter, and Andrew his brother, James and John, Philip and Bartholomew, Matthew and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called the Zealot, Judas the son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who also became a traitor. the only thing I'll point out here, and we'll be done for the day, the only thing I'll point out is there were 2 Judases in the group of the apostles. So unfortunately, this is just a bad break for Judas, the son of James, that he has the same name, because people are like, oh, you're one of the apostles. Yeah, which one? I'm Judas. Oh, no, not that one. No, the good one, the good Judas. But those are the names of the apostles. There's a ton that could be said about each one of those guys, but those are the ones that he chose as he begins his ministry and goes on to do some really incredible things, which we're going to get to this week when we see him heal a large group of people and begin some more extensive teachings. So we'll see you on Sunday.